Welcome to Norristown Area High School. I'm John Price with my partner Neil Schaefer for the Lady Eagles basketball game where they're going to be hosting the Bensalem Owls. You might Neil from the boys halftime broadcast. It's been away a little bit, missed the last game that we had.
That's right, I'm sorry I missed a great
Neil,
exciting game.
That's right, how's everything going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. I think the Norristown Eagles are going to have a little bit of a challenge tonight. They're a little low on numbers. A couple people are out with some injuries, and we're going to have to see if they can bounce off a loss to North Penn against the Bensalem Owls.
Yeah, it looked like Norristown got on a little mini roll there. They took two in a row, including a what was almost a blowout against Truman, 74-39, and they were slowed down a little bit by North Penn in the process of trying to put together a little bit longer streak. We'll see how they do tonight. The opening tap is controlled by Bensalem. Charissa McCoy handling the point duties, guarded by Nancy Strakowski. They try to work the ball inside where they might have a little bit of a height advantage. They've got two players that are Natalie Yoder's height or better. But Norristown gets possession of the ball and tries to work it inside to Natalie Yoder. She gets fouled in the process.
Already an aggressive game for Bensalem. They're willing to put some people on the floor there.
Yoder's really stepped up lately. She had 18 rebounds a couple games ago, and I know that she was banging the boards pretty heavily Wednesday night as well. She hits the first.
Natalie's a 5'9" sophomore, and she is the tallest girl for Norristown tonight. Mecca Hawkins not being here.
Among others. She misses the second, but Jessica Munson controls the rebound, puts it up with the left hand. It's good. Norristown has a 3-0 lead. Jessica did a lot of that the other night, too. She really stepped up her play. Nice steal. Jackie Cresswell gets her hands on it and puts it right back in for an easy bucket. Norristown is opening up with a full court man-to-man pressure. It looks like Bensalem's slightly confused. Ball gets tapped out of bounds. Bensalem keeps control.
I talked about an aggressive game for Bensalem. I'm sorry, the aggressive game is coming from Norristown. They're on them like glue.
Well, Norristown likes to use that press a lot. Get a lot of easy turnovers and get some easy layups and some buckets off that as Bensalem's shot goes a little bit long. And it looks like Jessica Munson was on the line when she tried to grab that loose ball. And it will be Bensalem's ball underneath their own. Couple of freshman players here for Bensalem. I believe they have two. What do you think that's going to mean for the impact of the game?
I think Bensalem's coach, Don Bogan, must know something. He must have a lot of confidence in these freshmen. He does have one advantage over Norristown. He has a deeper bench tonight. Norristown, as I said, are a little low on the troops tonight. So maybe Coach Bogan can use a couple of players off the bench.
Yeah,
keep everyone fresh.
That is true. In case of an injury or foul trouble, it looks like some of the JV players do need to show their stuff this evening.
That's right. We had Melissa Kelly go down with an injury in the North Penn game, and Becca Hawkins has been absent from school for a couple days now, and Jackie Wade, of course, has ankle problems. So three key players for Norristown are sitting out, but it looks like the other girls are stepping up to take over.
Charissa McCoy meets with a double team up at the top, but she does a good job handling it. Three-point shot attempt comes up a little short. Amy Jablonski with the board, who did a great job last game, stepping in and getting some added minutes in the absence of Melissa Kelly during her injury. She finds a little hole. She tries to penetrate, and she gets whacked on the hand by Charissa McCoy. She was in the act. And she's going to go to the line. First substitution of the night, Bensalem.
That's Shannon Morris. And that's two fouls already on Charissa McCoy. And it looks like Coach Bogan's going to take a timeout with a score of 5-0 Norristown with 6:26 left in the first quarter. Coach Bogan has to be going over some probably inbounds play to break that press, and probably just to settle his girls down. They look a little frazzled. They look like they're taking on a formidable opponent here in Norristown. And of course, Coach Morgan is probably saying, let's just keep on pressure. Let's keep pressuring these. They're going to falter under that kind of pressure and play aggressive basketball like we see at every game for Norristown. They're always playing aggressive basketball.
Well, that's what we like to see. Norristown might not have the decided height advantage that a lot of teams bring into the gymnasium, on maybe some of their quickness that they bring with a little bit smaller and perhaps a little bit more athletic lineup. Bensalem's coming into this game 3-10 overall and 2-6 in the league. And Norristown, after the loss to North Penn, sits at 3-5 in the league, and they're even at 7-7 overall.
One thing we saw that was interesting in the warm-ups, John, was we had an injury during the warm-ups. So we'll give Sarah Sherman a plug here for Bensalem. She sprained her ankle in the warm-ups, and luckily Coach Bogan has 5 or 6 to sub for Bensalem.
Well, she's not a starter, and I hope she didn't do that in order just to make it on the air, because I don't know if it was worth it.
That's
as
right.
Amy Jablonski's foul shot goes a little bit long. She'll get another chance to redeem herself. A little bit long as well. Battle for the rebound on the inside. Jackie Cresswell tracks it down and sets it up through Nancy Strakowski. She looks like she found a three-point shot, and it came up short. Out of bounds, Bensalem ball. Again, facing that aggressive pressure defense. It looks like a 4-1 zone operation going on here from Coach Morgan. Bensalem gets it into Minnie Spellman's hands, who's a 5'2" senior guard. I'm sure that they expect a lot out of her with a younger lineup. They're probably looking for a lot of senior leadership. And she wheels and deals and finds Shannon Morris, who was the first substitution of the game. They come up a little bit short. Well, Jessica Munson tried to push the ball a little bit on the fast break and take advantage of some numbers, and she ended up losing possession of the ball. Bensalem inbounds once again under the basket. We've seen this a couple times already tonight.
Bensalem able to break the press that time pretty easily on a long pass.
That is a good way to break the press. Go over top of it. Again, the double team up top. Amy Jablonski gets a little bit too aggressive. Amy's got a nice all-around game, Neil.
Yeah, she doesn't have as much quickness as Melissa Keller. Scrappy. She's getting right in there, and she's helping Nancy Strakowski out and double teaming, and she's stepping up to perform. Oh, another touch foul there.
Looks like it might be against Jackie Cresswell. And it is.
Bensalem going to have their chance to get on the board with a shot from Allison Thorne. It's 5-0 Eagles.
They have been held scoreless for 2.5 minutes so far almost. We're looking at the first shot, short off the front of the rim.
Again.
Once again, off the mark. Nancy Strakowski has a hard time getting her hand on it. Bensalem trying to work it inside, where they definitely have a decided height advantage there. Amber Maurer, a 5'11", freshman starting, has a hard time finding the bucket. It comes off. Jessica Munson, strong to the basket, can't finish, and she is posting up.
She was pretty heavily guarded by Edith Klee.
She was. We saw Jessica Munson do a lot of great things in the paint. She posted up all night against North Penn, and they fouled the heck out of her, much to the chagrin of the North Penn fans. And she made it to the line a lot and put a lot of people in foul trouble against North Penn. We'll see if they try to take advantage of her post-up skills tonight.
Amy Jablonski just weaved her way through that one.
She did, and she found Jessica Munson, who had an open look at a jump shot, and now they increased their lead to 7-0 with 4:50 left in the first quarter. This has got to be tough, though, Neil, don't you think, running a full-court pressure with a depleted bench?
Yeah, it's probably going to take a little bit out of Norristown. They're going to be tired, but if they look up on the scoreboard once in a while, maybe they'll see that it's all worth it. They have a 7-0 lead now, and it looks like they're pretty much taking the Owls piece by piece.
Amy Jablonski does a nice job attacking that press, which is exactly what you have to do. Strakowski patient and finds Cresswell, who mooches it off the glass.
I like
puts
that,
it
John.
in.
I like that, John.
9-0. Just under 4.5 left in the first. Deflected out of bounds by the ever-aggressive Norristown defense.
I don't know if Norristown is supposed to be tired. They don't look very tired. They look very fresh. They look like they're on top of the game. It's the Owls that look confused.
Once again, they try the baseball pass. Not exactly the way it was drawn up on the blackboard, as Amber Maurer, the center, finds herself with the ball, but they do get a chance to control it. Strakowski finds herself in great defensive position. Sneaks up behind Shannon Morris, who looks like she might have bumped her thumb. And of course, that's no big deal for Bensalem when you've got 6 people waiting to come in the game. The other way around, you might have had a problem with it. Norristown can't afford to lose a lot of people. Jackie Cresswell goes the length of the court with a pass, Jessica Munson with a left-hand attempt, no good. Natalie Yoder, once again, cleaning the glass, gets the basket, or gets the ball and tries to put it up, and she'll go to the line.
She out-rebounded those two freshmen there. She's 5'9". She takes the ball, she puts it back up, she draws a foul, and goes back to stripe.
I know that you had mentioned that Natalie doesn't have a whole lot of basketball experience.
She is a multi-sport athlete, and I think she's finally coming into her own here in basketball.
Well, it looked like she had an experience advantage on that rebound, and come from her competitive experience, not just her basketball experience. She's very cool out there for someone who hasn't had as much exposure to the game. And she puts up her second foul shot, missed both of them. Edith Klee grabs the board for Bensalem, and they push it down the court. Norristown settles into its man-to-man defense. Bensalem's Amber Maurer takes a shot, gets her own.
She's going to be called for the foul over the top.
That's what you'll find with some inexperience.
And the Eagles still holding the Owls scoreless. It's 9-0, 3:45 left in the first quarter.
The shutout is alive. Norristown patient, nice skip pass to Strakowski, who finds herself with an open look at the basket, a little bit long off the heel. Rebound goes to Edith Klee of Bensalem. McCoy loses the handle. But Bensalem's trying to work it inside, and I know they didn't want their 5'8" junior Edith Klee handling the ball that much, and she turns the ball over. But that's aggressive defense on the part of Norristown, don't you think?
This game is a scorekeeper's dream. No score for the Owls. They don't have to worry about any.
Yeah, I don't know how I got talked into doing the scoring for Norristown. Maybe we ought to switch.
You volunteered.
That doesn't happen a lot to Natalie Yoder. She gets her shot blocked. For Norristown, they keep the ball. And Jablonski is trying to push it into Jessica Munson, as I said, who's been doing a lot of posting up. Crossover dribble. Looked pretty good there. Charissa McCoy gets Bensalem on the board with 2:45 left to go in the first quarter. And Norristown comes right back. Pushes the ball down court. Amy Jablonski puts up a three-point attempt. No good. And Norristown retreats back into their man-to-man defense. They're working it inside.
Matchup of the big girls there, and that was Amber Maurer, and I don't think she's used to having somebody as tall as her guarding her, and she got a little nervous there and threw a wild shot up.
I'll tell you what, Amber Maurer and Natalie Yoder don't look like they're 2 inches apart. They look like they're about neck and neck. I don't know if someone's getting a little bit creative with their height record keeping, but looks like Bensalem got a little spark from Charissa McCoy from three-point range. Bensalem closes to within 4 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Norristown certainly holds an advantage in ball handling skills. You can see that they're much more comfortable working the ball around the perimeter, and they're getting a lot of clean looks and some open shots, but as they have all season, they're having some problems getting the ball inside the cylinder.
Every single girl looks like she can handle the ball, dribbling and passing, and everyone, maybe with the exception of Natalie, looks like they can take it outside at any time. Natalie's more on the inside.
Although she does have some pretty good skills for a player of her size. As Jackie Cresswell shoots long, once again, the same story for Norristown. Strakowski controls and tries to work it inside to undersized Amy Jablonski, who finds her way underneath with some taller people, and Bensalem gets the ball back.
A lot of second opportunities for Norristown. They get the rebound, they put up a second or third shot. They're not making them now, but at least they're getting the opportunities. Just lets them go by.
It's frustrating. I've seen that a lot this year from the Lady Eagles. You can't really coach that. That's a great steal, good anticipation on the part of Jessica Munson, who is quite ambidextrous, tries to find Cresswell. Cresswell just got enough hand on it to stop it from going out of bounds. And Munson, another really clean look at the shot. It looks great until it gets within about 4 inches of the rim. Charissa McCoy with a little razzle-dazzle, back right to the hole, puts it up, and draws the foul. Jackie Cresswell.
We have some fans behind us, and they said that girl's good, and she does look like she has a lot of ball handling skills, and she got down the court real easily, and she went the distance there. And drew a foul, too.
Well, she was able to draw the second foul against Cresswell, who incidentally is not the one who gets substituted for. We've got Tamay Ellis coming in for Natalie Yoder. Cresswell's got 2 fouls. She had 2 points last game, but she did a fine all-around job. And Norristown certainly doesn't lack for experienced ball handlers. Charissa McCoy makes her first foul shot. She's got kind of a low arching shot, and that one ricocheted off the back of the rim. But Amber Maurer grabbed it, couldn't put it back in. Norristown pushes it down the court to Strakowski. She finds Munson, who was trying to put the ball in the foul in front of her.
Shannon Mars enters the game for the Owls, and Amber Maurer takes a seat. We have another substitution. That's Melissa Ridgway. She's coming in for Charissa McCoy. Charissa has all 6 points for the Owls.
So the accurate score would be Norristown 9, Charissa McCoy 6.
That's right.
43 seconds left in the first. 3-point attempt by Strakowski goes long. Munson, always around the ball, puts it right back in, 11-6. That's Jessica's 4th. Bensalem operating with about 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Mindy Spellman trying to get something to happen. She finds Allison Thorne, who can't put the ball in. Spellman gets the ball and tries to get some points on the putback. Jablonski finds Munson in the open court. 2 more points for Jessica Munson. 13-6. Doesn't look like Bensalem will get a chance to put the shot off.
Nope. That's going to end the first quarter. It's 13 Norristown 13, and the Owls of Bensalem 6. We said Charissa McCoy, all 6 points for the Owls. And so far, John, I think the Norristown team is dominating them, but they're still not firing at 100%. It looks like they're just having a couple miscues here and there. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw a similar opening against North Penn where they bolt out to an early lead, and the opposing team unfortunately whittles its way back in as you see Norris begins to struggle with some of their field goal percentage and their field goal opportunities. So let's hope that they can stave off any type of an effort like that from a Bensalem team that's not quite as highly regarded as the Lady Maidens were.
And one thing I guess they have to worry about now is they're going to be pretty tired after 2 or 3 quarters. They're only playing with a certain amount of players on the bench, so they're going to have to play almost 32 minutes of the game. So that's going to take the effect on the Lady Eagles. It
certainly will, and I think Tamay Ellis will be a key figure in the outcome of this game. Tamay is not the tallest out there, but she certainly plays a lot taller. She does a great job underneath. Gives them some quality minutes. Norristown, real patient with the ball. Tamay finds herself in the air and does a nice athletic move by getting rid of the ball to Strakowski, who can't get the ball to fall in the basket once again. Bensalem inbounding against this Norristown full court pressure, and Tamay Ellis takes the place of Natalie Yoder, who's getting a bit of a breather, a little bit of an extended breather. Bensalem does a nice job breaking the press, and the ref gets a little bit of help on his call there from Bensalem's Mindy Spellman, who had a hard time playing against the double team. Charissa McCoy tries to get something going from the wing, no good. It's Norristown's ball. You would think that Bensalem, with the decided player amount advantage, might try to tire Norristown's players out, but they certainly haven't put any type of pressure on them, Neil.
Nope, they look like they're just sort of out there, just sort of taking up space.
That's a beautiful look at the passing ability of the Eagles. They worked it inside to Munson, who tries to draw some attention and kicks it out to the perimeter. Unfortunately, they can't connect in the field goal.
No, they're having trouble getting those outside shots to fall. They just seem to be putting up some nice-looking shots, but they don't go in the basket.
McCoy gets called a type of a walk situation. Turns the ball over, and certainly Bensalem doesn't need to give Norristown any more opportunities than they're already getting, and Strakowski comes out of the game. Yoder and Tamay Ellis checking into the game together, along with Munson, which gives them probably their most formidable power lineup that we're going to see tonight. And Ellis finds herself on the wing. Jablonski to Ellis, back over to Yoder. Back out and up to Cresswell, who returns the favor. Another walking call.
Sorry, John, I was out there a little bit. We had a ruling question from our athletic director, Mr. Joe Fabrizio, and we have it straightened out now. And I haven't missed much. It's still 13-6.
No, you certainly haven't. Charissa McCoy goes strong into the hole. Looks like there might have been some contact in some form as Yoder hits the turf there. Charissa McCoy with a little hot dog pass tries to go over the top.
Maybe the referee swallowed his whistle. I don't know. I didn't hear anything from his whistle yet.
Yeah, not exactly happened there as Allison Thorne checks back in the game for Bensalem. Charissa McCoy sits down, and I guess the coach probably wasn't too fond of that attempt at a one-handed loop-to-loop pass there. I was commenting on the lineup that Norristown has in. It looks like they've got what would be considered probably their tallest power lineup, maybe.
That's right.
At least with the personnel they have to work with.
There we go.
Well, there's a two-point shot by Cresswell.
That's the first one that looked good all the way to the bottom.
That's the thing, you just got to keep shooting them. They're going to find their way in, hopefully, at some point. But all the shots look good. Their form is fine. And it's 15-6 with 5:50 left in the second quarter. That's another great job by the defense. Amy Jablonski comes up with the ball, out to Munson. Tomei Ellis does a good job keeping her hands on it. That ball did everything but go, and it looked like someone actually went in and tried to tap it out. Couldn't get through, but luckily Natalie Yoder's in there to pick up the scraps and try to push it back in.
And Tomei saved the ball from going out. The pass was a little long. She pulled it back in. She put the shot up. It didn't go in, but she gave Natalie the opportunity to put it right back up, and she draws the foul.
Well, she kept the ball alive, and you saw a lot of athleticism on that play.
Yeah, I'll tell you who else you saw a lot of hustle from is Amy Jablonski. She started that whole thing with a steal, and she ends up on the floor with two Bensalem girls on top, and she's the last one down the court, but she hustled back down, got down there, and wanted to contribute to any scoring chance that Norristown had, and that's the key to a successful team. Even though you have aggressive people on every team, it's the really aggressive people who get up court and get back down where the action is instead of sitting there waiting for people to applaud you or help you out.
And I'll tell you what, that's good to see, especially tonight in the absence of Melissa Kelly, who has really been a vital cog to the comings and goings of this Norristown team this year. She's really been key. She's a floor leader, and she's missed. But I'll tell you what, when Amy Jablonski gives that much out on the court, she's missed a little bit less.
Amy's a 5-foot sophomore, and she has a couple more years here to perfect her craft at Norristown.
Well, you can see she's got excellent court awareness, and that's only going to develop over the next couple years here at Norristown. So you can probably expect some big things from her. Jessica Munson leading the troops back out there, trying to give some words of encouragement to Natalie Yoder, who finds herself on the foul line quite a bit over the course of a game.
She missed 2 shots earlier in the game, but she has a chance to redeem herself right here.
We'll be shooting 2, 15-6, 5:39 left in the second quarter. Yoder can't make the first. She goes up. I heard someone tell her to bend her knees a little bit more, and that might have been the key there. She looked a little bit more patient and had a little bit more legs. People don't understand shooting's not necessarily an arm action. Your legs are so much a key of your shooting, and it comes into play the third and the fourth quarters. And when you play as aggressive a style of play as Norristown does, your legs are real important with making that shot. Natalie Yoder pulls down a big rebound. In the process, she gets fouled.
We're not sure who number 12 is. She's not on the roster, but she picks up her first foul.
Like we said, we're going to see a lot of Natalie Yoder at the line. 16-6 Norristown, 5:23 Jackie Cresswell again for Amy Jablonski. Give Amy a bit of a rest. She gets quite a round of applause for someone coming out with 5:23 left in the second quarter. That's usually something that's saved for the end of the game, but you can see everyone appreciates the effort and recognizes it. Yoder forgets about bending the knees. Goes a little bit long with her front end of the 1-and-1.
Bensalem with their 7th team foul, and Norristown now shoot 1-on-1.
Strakowski with kind of a hand check call there. She looked like she was doing a pretty good job checking her player, but a little bit too aggressive for the liking of the official. And Bensalem inbounds the ball. and sets up the offense. Spellman to Thorne. The ball's tipped away by Cresswell, but then controlled again by Spellman. They're trying to push it inside and take advantage of the height. Put your hands on it out to Munson. Strakowski controls the ball and does a good job recovering, reeling herself in and making the shot. What do you think of that one, Neil?
That was a real smooth transition there. Jessica looked like she had a plan in mind, and Nancy looked like she had the same plan, and they went down there and made it look easy. They cross-court pass there and easy 2 points.
Strakowski's fourth. We saw a nice job by Spellman to shake her player, but Bensalem can't put it in. Cresswell. That is was that a 3, Neil? I couldn't tell.
They're going to score a 2-pointer.
Looked like
said that was 2. It looked like 3 from where we're sitting, but he had the vantage point, and that's 2 points, a 2-pointer for Jackie.
Well, Jackie's on a tear tonight, and it's nice to see. There's 4 minutes left. It's 20-6, advantage Lady Eagles of Norristown. This is about the point in the game where you would have seen North Penn maybe start to creep back in, but it looks like Norristown is holding a little bit more of an advantage, and Tomei Ellis has seen a lot more minutes tonight than she did the other night.
Smart on Coach Morgan's part. Give the girls time to gel on the floor a little bit. Don't keep switching people in and out. You have 5 or 6 or 7 girls who are really strong. Let's just keep working one in slowly at a time.
Shannon Morris goes long for Bensalem. Jessica Munson gets the rebound and goes the length of the court. They try to work it inside to Yoder, who goes long, but once again, Jessica Munson is always around the ball. Natalie Yoder is too. She gets tangled up, finds herself on the floor, and you're going to find Natalie Yoder in 2 places, of course, of the game, the foul line and the floor. She likes the places that begin with the letter F.
That's right, and she's getting a lot of bumping in there. I thought there could have been a foul somewhere in there on Natalie Yoder.
That's aggressive play, and you certainly, as a coach, want to see more of that, even though the referee thought it was a foul. Strakowski intercepts the ball. Cresswell to Tomei Ellis, crossover move, and gets the ball in the hands of Jablonski, who comes inside with a running one-hander, and she's in there a couple inches short, but she gets the shot off.
She gets her own rebound. She gets her own rebound. She's shortest person on the court, and she gets her own rebound.
I'll tell you what, Strakowski's found herself behind a lot of players, tipping the ball away, and her and Cresswell share a good chuckle there, as Cresswell looked like she was trying to do some type of a soccer move. Allison Thorne converts from Bensalem. We're looking at 20-8, 2:47 left in the second quarter.
Okay, thanks.
Jablonski to Cresswell, who's got 6 points tonight. That's a nice pass inside from Strakowski.
Oh, but
Yoder gets a beautiful look at the basket. Amy Jablonski is like a power forward down there tonight. She tied that up. The possession arrow pointed towards Bensalem. But next time they get tied up, thanks to Jablonski, Norristown will get the ball. Well, that full court pressure is made possible, once again, as Neil and I said, by the athleticism of this Norristown. They're able to do a good job recovering. Cresswell got a hand on that. Tomei Ellis pushes the ball up to Strakowski. Amy Jablonski with a left-handed layup attempt goes a little bit long. And Tomei Ellis inside.
There's another Charles Barkley-like play, getting right in there and taking charge, and she doesn't care if she falls on the floor or not. She wants that ball.
Well, she gave it her all, and she comes out of the game. None of these Norristown girls are afraid of getting out and dirty.
That's right.
But that was a nice job. Sharissa McCoy, a real good job there. She did attempt to help Tomei up off the court, which you like to see. That's an excellent display of sportsmanship.
That's right. That's what
and in the heat of the battle, a lot of times you'll find the opposite. But Sharissa McCoy keeps a cool head. It's our first look at Melissa Ridgway for Bensalem. And Amy Jablonski gets the foul.
Uniform hold there. She caught the uniform of the Bensalem player, and there's a foul call on her.
Norristown is still not in the bonus. Sharissa McCoy from three-point range. She's good from the corner. That's a tough shot to make. 20-11 Norristown.
She has 9 points on the night. She also has 2 fouls, so if Norristown can get a couple more fouls on her, maybe she'll sit the bench, and there goes their scoring.
Munson handles most of the inbounding duties for Norristown. Cresswell finds Yoder once inside, who really does a nice job passing from the pivot. She looks like Bill Walton out there. Strakowski finds Jessica Munson down low. Converge for two, 22-11 in favor of Norristown. That's Jessica's 8th point, and she really does a beautiful job down in the paint.
If Natalie's Bill Walton, then who's Jessica Munson? Is that Larry Bird or?
I don't know. She's got a Scottie Pippen game. She basically steps up wherever she's needed, and she'll do anything for you. Defense, offense, in the paint, ball handling skills. Bensalem cuts the lead to 9 with under a minute left in the second quarter. As we enter the half, Strakowski gets the ball from long range, converts for 3. Nice job. That's Nancy's 7th point. And she puts Norristown up by 12. 35 seconds left. McCoy kicks the ball out. Bensalem can't find it, but they retain possession of the ball with 20 left.
Sit down.
Out to the corner. As expected, Charissa McCoy is handling the ball with about 18 seconds left here to go before the half. Melissa Ridgway trying to create an opening. No good. Great defense by Jackie Cresswell.
And now they're going to get the ball with 6.7 seconds to go.
Harassed into a turnover. Munson pushes the ball into Jablonski. 4 seconds left. They find Cresswell, who's had a great job finding the bottom of the basket all night long. She comes up big with 1.7 seconds to go before the half with a 3-point shot.
She makes a 3-point shot, and she's fouled in the process, which is the worst thing you can do from a defensive perspective. With 1.7 to go, they usually call off the fouls there, but Cresswell will shoot an additional 1 point and make a play here.
Well, that's a nice thing to see. For all the effort that the Norristown squad gives, they have a hard time finding the bucket, and it's great when the hard work pays off. Cresswell evens her score for the half at 10 points. Great job by Jablonski breaking up any opportunity that Bensalem might have had for some points to close into the half. We're looking at a 29-13 score.
Norristown really poured it on there in the last 4 or 5 minutes. They really looked like they were gelling together. That 4-point play right at the end really turns it around. It could have been a 25-13, which is still a 12-point lead, but now it's a 16-point lead, which is a little more commanding. And as we look at the scoring totals, Jackie Cresswell has 10 points, and Nancy Strakowski has 7, Jessica Munson with 8, and everyone seems to be contributing. John, it doesn't look like anyone is taking command over anybody else.
Well, that's what you need to have come out of this team. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest successes they had against Truman when that 74-point victory, no one had more than 14 points, which is similar to what you're guiding, and that seems to be the biggest success opportunity that Norristown has, is balanced, even scoring.
They're spreading it around the court, which is turning out to be successful tonight as they lead at 29-13 at halftime, and we'll be back with the second half, John, after this.
Welcome back as we join right after halftime. It looks like the opening possession is going to go to Bensalem as Norristown kicks it off with a 16-point lead, 29-13. Neil, what were your impressions following the first half of play here?
Well, it looks like Norristown really want to take the bull by the horns here and control this game. They're playing tenacious defense as always, and they're really sticking it to the Bensalem Owls. And as I say that, Amber Maurer puts in 2 points, but it looks like everyone's playing an integral part in the success of this game, and a 29-13 halftime score is that kind of success.
That's good to see in the absence of so many players. You really needed the core group here to step up, and it looks like so far that they have. Amy Jablonski, due to the patience of the offense, finds herself in an open jump shot. Goes long. Bensalem ball, they bring it up against a man-to-man defense from Norristown. And last time down the court, as you were talking, that was really the first time that Bensalem's been able to take advantage of any type of a height advantage that they're holding over Norristown.
Coach Bogan's halftime speech worked. We couldn't hear what he was saying, but we were looking at his meeting, and he probably just laid it out on the table that these girls have to put it together more and make their shots. And make smart passes, and that's what they're doing now.
Norristown's in a zone off the inbound. They're in a 2-3. And they're doing a good job communicating back there. You hear Natalie Yoder alert Jackie Cresswell of a player slipping behind her.
Bensalem patient with the ball. They're not taking any immediate shots. We have a jump ball, and Jessica Munson, aggressive play pays off again, and she takes the ball away.
6:35 remaining in the third quarter, 29-15. Norristown has been in control of the game all night long. Cresswell finds her ball at the top of the key over to Strakowski. From long range, she finds herself with another three-point shot. It's good. That's her 10th point.
That ball was all net, and it hit the floor, and that's the only sound we heard.
I'm not even sure if it hit the net, Neil.
That thing went
That was
through,
sweet.
So smooth.
Jablonski, aggressive defense, but she picks up a foul on the arm. They need to make sure Amy stays in the game.
That's Amy's third foul.
Whoop. Maurer gets the ball inside again.
She's called for up and down. Oh, no, she's not.
Looks like that was a possession arrow call, a jump ball call, and it really looks like they're making a concerted effort to try to move the ball inside and take advantage of Maurer's size. But Natalie Yoder's there with her step for step. That's a vocal defense out there. That's so key on defense for basketball, is to make sure communicating.
That's right.
Jackie Cresswell finds herself on the positive end of a turnover there. Strakowski sets up. She's been hot all night, a little long off the heel of the basket. Bensalem retains possession. McCoy brings the ball up for the Owls. Crossover dribble. She finds herself a clean lane to the hole and gets fouled. Strakowski with the foul. 32-15, 5:28 left in the third quarter. Charissa McCoy goes to the line.
Charissa McCoy makes it, and that's 10 points for her tonight. Something I noticed, John, is as Bensalem was passing the ball around, there's 2.5 minutes going by in the third quarter, and I'd say 2 minutes of that went by with Bensalem having the ball. They're taking the time, they're being patient, whereas Norristown's picking up the tempo and taking a shot right away, and they haven't scored yet in the second half, and Bensalem has. Maybe Norristown needs to slow down a little bit and look for a shot, and then hopefully make that shot if they're going to continue to lead by 16 points or more.
There's some pressure up front by Norristown. Jessica Munson, once again, as always, around the ball. Jackie Cresswell has been so active tonight on defense. Knocks the ball out of bounds, they're making it real difficult for Bensalem to work the ball inside, or work the ball on the outside for that matter.
All the Norristown players seem to have a hand in every pass that goes from one Bensalem player to another. Look at that tenacious defense by Natalie Yoder.
Well,
Denied.
The freshman Maurer does a nice job showing some ball and then coming down on the floor with it, and it looked like she had a pretty decent shot at converting. Allison Thorne goes up. Basket's going to count.
A foul off the ball.
Amber Maurer, the freshman, gets the against her. 32-18, 4:48 left in the third. Jablonski handling the point duties. Cresswell delivering to Strakowski inside and kicked it outside. Cresswell just off the front of the rim. Jablonski doing a good job trying to keep the ball alive, but knocks it out of bounds in the process.
Now here's something we haven't seen, or I haven't seen it working with you, John, but here Amber Maurer has 4 fouls as she takes a seat on the bench, and that's crucial because she is, as we've said before, the tallest player on the court, a rebounding machine for Bensalem, and now she has to sit down.
McCoy goes from long range. It goes up long. Jessica Munson battling for the rebound with Maurer's replacement, Chris Whalen, who comes in the game. Not too much of a drop-off there. You're looking at a 5'8" senior, so she might add a different dimension to this Bensalem attack. Bensalem settles back into a 3-2 zone. Norristown, patient, working the ball across the top. Can Bensalem do all the work? Cresswell can't convert, up top to Jablonski. She sets up for the three, and it's good. Amy Jablonski.
She had plenty of time to set up, too. She got the ball, she planted her feet, and she looked at that basket and said, I'm going for it. She took it, and she sang it.
She did. Those are her first points of the night. It puts Norristown up 35-18, and Jessica Munson, doing all the intangibles tonight, gets the ball. Jablonski's working against defense by Mindy Spellman of Bensalem. But Strakowski manages to get the ball and settle it down. Norristown kind of looking for Yoder inside. Over to Munson from three-point land. Comes up short. Yoder, left-handed putback, no good. Chris Whalen gets the rebound for Bensalem. And Mindy Spellman drives the length of the court, puts the ball in, and Yoder, once again, if she's not at the foul line, she's on the floor. Looked like she'd go in the process of fouling. And Tamay Ellis checks in the game for Natalie Yoder.
Natalie taking a deserved break there. She was really tenacious on defense. She took the brunt of that from Mindy Spellman, and she ended up on the floor. Now she's going to end up on the bench with a rest.
She's tough, I'll tell you what. She's involved in all the rebounds at either end of the court. She's got a real nose for the ball. She's got a good feel for the game. Speaking of feel for the Munson, comes out of nowhere, grabs the rebound. All-around game of Munson. She handles the point duties, kicks it out to Strakowski, who goes long. Jablonski gets the ball, and Cresswell can't come up with the shot attempt.
Even though they didn't make the basket, but there was communication there. Amy Jablonski got the rebound, and Nancy said, out, out. She got it out to her instead of trying to penetrate and make a silly shot.
Well, 35-22, Norristown still holds a 13-point lead, but Hellman with a little spin move jump shot that finds its way to the bottom of the basket. That's the first time we've seen anything like that from her tonight. And it looks like she wants to try to do it again, except this time Amy Jablonski has something to say about it.
She's gonna win out on that one. She gets possession error to go her way.
I think she was the one who got the possession arrow pointing to Norristown in the first place, so once again her hard work pays off. And she's doing it at both ends with that three-point shot and then back down on defense. Cross court from Cresswell. Strakowski goes up strong, a little bit long. Shannon Morris controls the ball for Bensalem and gets it to Minnie Spellman. The shot is up and way short from three-point range. Didn't hit a thing.
The referee's going to overrule the other referee. He said it was a block shot. I don't think so. I think that looked pretty smooth to me.
Well, I know that the ref was standing real close to us, and we had a tough angle at it, so that was a difficult call for him to make. And there's that turnaround jump shot that Spellman hit. No good. Neither was McCoy's shot. Norristown's going to gain possession of it. 35-22, a minute 56 in the third. Neil, you look a little bit.
On that call, I would have called it off on Norristown. I thought it went off to May Ellis' hand. But
maybe that's one of those calls that they make up.
That's right, make-up call, I guess.
They're trying not to get anyone mad at them. Strakowski looked good, nice form. Jessica Munson gets the rebound. She keeps it alive and pushes it to Cresswell. Munson posting up, lost the handle. Looked like she started into her move before she had control of the ball. Bensalem gets possession of it. Mindy Spellman calls the play for Bensalem. Moves it over to who has been their main gun so far, McCoy. McCoy's responsible for about half of Bensalem's offense. And she has difficulty finding a teammate on that one. She throws the ball out of bounds. Turnover.
Norristown with a 13-point lead with 1:11 to go in the third quarter.
Well, this third quarter certainly is whipped by, and Jessica Munson better get out of the lane before she gets a 3-second call. She's doing a great job working the paint against McCoy. As Norristown, very patient at this point. They certainly don't need to push it. Cresswell finds Munson, who's got position. She tries to put the ball up. She gets fouled in the process. What we saw her do a whole lot last game, and it's very successful for her. Munson kind of beats Bensalem on the inbound play out to Strakowski. Jablonski with an attempted penetration, kicks it out to Strakowski. Tomei Ellis, good job with the rebound. Back up with the ball. No good. Jessica Munson banging in there, keeps it alive.
Jessica Munson looks like she's getting a little tired. She's been in the entire game. She hasn't had a break at all, and she looks a little tired.
Well, she gets back, and she moves her man back and gets off a good-looking shot. I'm not sure, Neil, who shot that one?
That was Tomei Ellis. She got a rebound and put it right back up. Smart play by Tomei, and now there's a 15-point lead with under 20 seconds to go in the third.
Well, at 37-22, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button, Neil, but what do you do if you're Bensalem at this point? You got your game plan so far hasn't been that successful. Is there any chance at redemption in the fourth quarter? Is that enough time?
I think you have to be patient and look for the quality shot, throwing up three-pointers.
Cresswell chucks the three, finds herself on the floor, shoots it long, 37-22 at the conclusion of the third quarter. There'll be 8 minutes left to play in this game, 8 minutes for Coach Bogan to come up with a big plan. Looks like he's taking a big stretch over there. He's a big man.
If I were Coach Bogan, I'd go to my bench. I'd send in some other girls, get some experience, and give them a chance to play in this game that looks like it's really under control for Norristown with a 15-point lead. I think the lowest was in the beginning of the game when it was 9-0. So Norristown's been in front. They've been commanding this entire game. Give somebody else some experience. I think they've gone about 8 or 9, maybe 10 deep on the Bensalem bench, whereas Coach Morgan's only gone 6 deep for Norristown. John, you want to give us a little look ahead to see what's coming up for Norristown?
Yeah, I was just trying to get an idea. This is a good little confidence-building win. This is 3 of their last 4 that Norristown's had, and that North Penn game was a very hard-fought game. It could have gone either way. As a matter of fact, it should have been victory. That would have been 4 in a row. Little confusion there on the opening of the fourth quarter, but it's not going to get a whole lot easier for Norristown. They are at Council Rock. They got Neshaminy West, Tennant, Penn Ridge, and then they followed with East, and all those are real quality teams. They're going to have a tough time in the stretch run, but they certainly have a great opportunity here to get into some postseason play, Neil. What do you think about that?
Okay, they need, I think, a couple people. I think they need Mecca Hawkins again. She was, as I said, she was sick. They need her to come back. They need Melissa Kelly back. Not that Amy Jablonski and everyone else aren't stepping up, but you need another person. And just as I said, that Amy Jablonski takes a shot.
She must have heard you.
Floor.
She must have heard you, Neil. She did a great job down low. She seems to like to bang down low more than she likes to play up at the perimeter. Yoder with some good defense. Maurer does get control of that, and she is able to put the ball in with 7:12 left to go in the fourth. It's 39-24 town.
Amy Jablonski pushing the ball right back for the Eagles. They're not letting up at all.
Bensalem is still in a man-to-man defense. Munson finds herself in what she considers a mismatch, puts the ball on the ground, and tries to find her way to the basket, and she's fouled again. Jessica Munson draws a lot of fouls, and that puts the other team at a decided disadvantage. That ends up in a lot of foul shots for Norristown.
Jessica has great ball handling skills, and so she's always going to command a lot of attention. And Strakowski drains another three-pointer.
Well mistaken, that's her third three-point shot in a row. Her last 3 buckets have all been threes, and that's a nice thing to have going for your team. As Maurer tries to counter, no good. And this is the first we've seen of Lori Matonis, a 5'7" junior guard forward for Bensalem. It looks like Coach Bogan is taking your advice and trying to work some new people into the lineup.
That's right. It looks like they're going to have the number 15, Lori Matonis, take a seat.
Well, she's in, and just as quickly she's back out, and still holds a decided advantage, 18 points, 6:38 left to go in the fourth quarter. Tomei Ellis fouls Mindy Spellman on her way to the basket, and that's one thing that you can try to do if you're Coach Bogan for Bensalem is try to draw some fouls and get some people making aggressive moves to the basket and finding themselves on the line and hoping for a prayer to go in. Well, we're looking at a mirrored score, 42-24. Spellman will shoot 2. Well, I like the fact that Spellman makes her first. I like the fact that Norristown has responded well in the absence of some typically key players being out. Obviously, as we've said a couple times, Melissa Kelly, Jackie Waits, Mecca Hawkins. But this is good. It gives an opportunity for some other people to get some extended minutes, build up some endurance, and that'll become real valuable if Norristown plans on after the season, Neil.
Yeah, they're going to have to really step up their play to get into in postseason play. It's very, very tough in postseason play to win game after game when you only have 5 or 6 girls who are playing all the time. You need to have a deep bench.
Well, you certainly do, especially with this lightning quick pace that Norristown likes to maintain. Even as we're in the fourth quarter here, Amy Jablonski streaks down the sideline trying to get a fast break layup, and she's fouled in the process. Looked like she took a shot to the head almost, and she'll be shooting too.
Most teams be patient to get the ball, waste some time, but not at Norristown. They're right back at it, 100% all out, and they have a 15-point lead, and they're fast breaking. And I just see Jessica Munson is sitting. She sat on the bench for a little bit. She's coming right back in the ball game. She got a little break there. Much needed, probably.
Amy Jablonski misses both shots. It's 42-27, just under 6 minutes left in the fourth. And Charissa McCoy calls the play for Bensalem, who really is patient, but wait a minute. She throws the three-point shot up. Jackie Cresswell has done a beautiful job on both ends of the court all night. Finds Nancy Strakowski, the three-point specialist, into Natalie Yoder. She works the pivot, turns faces, and is good for 2, 44-27, 5.5 minutes in the fourth.
Those 3 girls work together well. Strakowski dishing the ball into Natalie Yoder. Natalie turning around, putting up a little jumper.
Well, Natalie's duties so far tonight have mostly been defending the taller Maurer and also grabbing a lot of rebounds. She's only got 4 points, but that certainly is not indicative of the impact on the game. And Jablonski works a spin move. Jablonski
draws the foul there. She, as I said, she's one of the shorter girls on the court, but she drove the basket and drew a foul from Bensalem. And she gets a much-needed rest, too. She's been playing her butt off, and Jessica Munson comes back into the game, and we now have a timeout. It's 44-27 with 5:10 left to go in the game.
Looks like this potentially is a last-ditch effort on the behalf of Bensalem to try to muster some type of a – they're down 17 points. There's not a whole lot of 17-point plays that you can come up with if you're Coach Bogan.
That's right. You've been trying to hammer away all game and chip away at this lead, but it just doesn't seem to go anywhere. Maybe they can at least get in within a dozen points and make it look reasonable. But right now, for all intents and purposes, Norristown is on cruise control. Just get the ball back down and do as many scoring opportunities as they can, and hope that Bensalem just keeps on trying to plug a play. As we come out from the timeout, it's Tamay Ellis and Nancy Strakowski, Jackie Cresswell, Jessica Munson, and Natalie Yoder for the Eagles. And for the Owls, we have Allison Thorne, Charissa McCoy, Shannon Morris, Amber Maurer, and I believe that's number 30, Edith Klee, as Norristown brings it in.
Well, I had a chance to check on the Strakowski again with a three-point attempt at that time, but Cresswell gets the rebound to Tamay Ellis and into Natalie Yoder, who decides to add some offense to her good all-around game in the fourth quarter here with another bucket. Well, I had an opportunity to kind of gauge the strength of the remainder of the schedule that I had just mentioned as Yoder pulls down another rebound. She's doing a great job.
She's limping on her leg a little bit, but she's still playing 100%.
Well, she's constantly hopping inside there and getting tangled up, and I'm sure that's not so good for your ankle. Well, the next game that the Lady Eagles have is going to be against Neshaminy, who is 7-1 in the league and 10-2 overall, so certainly that will not be a cake. Oh, I beg your pardon. Actually, it's Council Rock, which isn't much better. Again, Council Rock 7-1 in the league, 11-5 overall. Neshaminy 7-1 in the league, 10-2 overall. And then they've got CB West, who at this point stands at 5-3 in the league and 10-5 overall. And you've got some real quality opponents coming up.
That's right, as we have a substitution for Norris, Katie Haslan, freshman, getting some varsity experience now that they have a 19-point lead, and we have a little confusion at the scorers table. But I'm sure the referees will straighten it out. Both coaches going a little bit to their bench, giving some time to some other players in a game like this where it's such a big lead. Tamay Ellis with a shot, goes over the backboard, it's no good, and Alice will take the ball.
Well, she hit some iron on that one. She got a little bit excited, and she probably could have taken her time with the ball a little bit more, but at this point in the game, that's not so much of a concern if it was a tighter game.
Exactly. Coach Morgan's not as upset about that.
And certainly you can't be upset when she comes down to the other end of the court and does a great job getting her hand on the ball and preventing a Bensalem pass from making it through.
Could almost have been a breakaway for Tomei. She could have had an easy open one layup there.
Well, with Yoder out, the unfortunate duties of guarding Maurer goes to Jessica Munson, who stands at about 5'6". And then she turns around, comes down to the other end, and puts up a shot, rebounded by Ellis. And I believe she was fouled on her way back up, and she'll be going to the line.
Now, anybody who looks at the box score of this game is going to say, well, Tomei Ellis didn't have any points. She doesn't have any points yet, but she's been playing one heck of a ball game. And that's true of a lot of players. They don't get the credit that they deserve, as Nancy Strakowski gets a lot of credit, and she takes a seat on the bench. So many players, or so many people, think that scoring is the only thing that makes up a basketball game. And if you come to the games and all the defense and all the rebounding that these girls do, and the boys too, that's what makes a ball game, is the hustle and the effort put out, not so much the points that are on paper. Tomei Ellis going to the line for the Eagles.
She's shooting too and has a chance to build on this lead that Norristown has held all game long. Bensalem really hasn't been able to even close whatsoever. There was never any question about this game as Ellis makes her first shot. It's important that a player who down low as much as Ellis is a successful foul shooter, and she hits both shots. 48-29, Norristown with under 4 minutes left to go. Spellman backs Jablonski down and then kicks it out to McCoy. No good. Maurer grabs the rebound. Can't stick it in for Bensalem. But they regain control. McCoy had a look at a three but decided against it and tried to take it inside. She goes long. Norristown used to push the ball. Jablonski goes a little bit long. Jessica Munson grabs the board and scores what I believe is about her 10th point, but it's probably at least 10 at this point.
Spellman with a three-pointer, no good. Amy Jablonski with the rebound, and they press again.
Cresswell with a nice touch pass out to the wing to Heslin, I believe. It finds its way out of bounds, but that was a pretty athletic maneuver by Cresswell to control the ball like that and pass it out. It looks like we're getting institution as Cresswell finds her way to the bench.
Yep, that's Tina McClellan, another freshman for Norristown. And that's Katie Heslin to the line for the Eagles. She's a freshman, getting some varsity experience here. She played the JV game, now she's playing the varsity game. She sinks one for her first point.
Well, that's a nice icebreaker for a freshman coming into a varsity game. I know there's some apprehensiveness usually on the part when you first enter a game.
Usually you're nervous coming from the JV ranks up to the varsity ranks, but when your team's up by 22 points, it's a little easier and a little softer of a shot.
Unfortunately, she couldn't get the second knuckleball to fall. And Bensalem brings the ball back down. Well, this is a good opportunity. We hope that we wouldn't have to see the bench a whole lot early due to injuries or foul trouble, and we didn't. We are seeing them on the flip side with as much success as Norristown has had, as Tomei Ellis, the ball up to McClellan, who does a great job shuffling the ball over to Munson underneath. And Munson adds to her point total.
Tina McClellan didn't look nervous there. She looked very smooth.
She knew exactly what to do with the ball.
That's foul on Amy Jablonski.
Jablonski's got her share of fouls tonight as a result of her aggressive play.
We have another substitution. That's Rebecca Springman, the third freshman to enter the game for Norristown. It's Jessica Munson. A round of applause from the crowd here at Norristown Area High School as she leaves the game.
A much-deserved round of applause.
And Springman picks up a foul just as she enters the game. I believe Rebecca's the sister of Ricky Springman, who's a wrestler here at Norristown, a very successful wrestler. And the whole Springman family looks to be athletic.
Well, as what may happen if you're sitting on the bench for the last hour and a half, you come in and you're a little bit cold and the feet aren't moving quite as fast as the others who've been in there all game. And Springman finds herself in a situation where she couldn't move her feet fast enough, and we've got McCoy at the line. Tina McClellan with a good job getting her hands on the ball, and then Tomei Ellis with a super job hustling, keeps it alive up to Jablonski. This Norristown team won't let up. Heslin, no good. Springman with the rebound.
Look at these
Maurer.
freshmen. They're scrappers. They're saying we want some more time here. We got it. We got some varsity experience. We're gonna grab for that ball. And Katie Heslin called on a foul. And she walks. She's smiling and she's having a good time out there. And she says, I'm in the varsity game and maybe I'll even be on cable TV. We'll have Amber Maurer go to the line for the Owls. Amber, second leading scorer for the Owls tonight. She has 8 points.
She misses her front end of the 1-and-1. Springman controls the ball out to Tamay Ellis, who's probably not used to handling the ball, handling chore, and unfortunately sends the ball out of bounds in an attempt to get it to Heslin. And Bensalem will have the ball. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our cameraman, Greg Fry, who has done an absolutely outstanding job all evening.
We'd also like to thank Mr. Tony Koya for all his help tonight. I know he's doing double duty with the senior play, but he's doing a fine job helping Greg Fry up there.
The well-tanned Tony Koya.
That's right.
Looking well-rested after a much-deserved vacation, and Jablonski doesn't shy away from taking a three-point shot. Tamay Ellis continues her excellent work down low, keeps the ball alive.
She's battling 3 Bensalem girls. She gets the rebound, and she draws a foul as well.
Well,
she's working up the sweat.
She's going to the line. 53-31 in the fourth quarter here. 1:40 left. Strakowski, Yoder, and Munson on the bench, feeling a little bit more relaxed than they probably were going into the game. They needed this victory, and it looks like they're going to get it. Tamaya can't make the foul shot. McCoy finds her way inside, draws the foul. Well, McCoy certainly isn't giving up. As I said in the beginning, she certainly showed some good sportsmanship, and she continues to prove herself as an all-around solid citizen. She's a 5'4" freshman, actually, and I'm sure that Bensalem will have an opportunity over the next 4 years to develop. And she looks like she's going to be a good one. I don't remember her coming out of the game at all for Bensalem.
No, I think she's been in the game the whole time. Maybe she took a couple seats on the bench, but she has well over 12 points tonight, and she's only a freshman for Bensalem.
Well, she makes both foul shots. 53-33 Norristown, 1.5 minutes left. And I think that at this point, we're going to find a little bit of a stall. I'm sadly mistaken. The ball goes inside of Tamay. They kick it back out to Tina McClellan, who does a good job pushing it inside. Tamay tries to use that famous Jordan elbow hook move, draws the foul, and she'll find herself back at the line again. Tamay has been earning her keep in the fourth quarter on the line, extending the lead of Norristown.
1:16 left in the game, and that's the second foul on Melissa Ridgway for the Owls.
Well, Neil, if you're Coach Morgan, what type of speech do you have after this game?
I think a very positive, uplifting speech coming off that disappointing loss to North Penn and the blowout of Truman. This is a nice game to come back and gain some confidence and work some new people into the game. We got some freshmen on the floor now and give them some experience. And as I look over at the bench, I see Cresswell and Munson, and they all look very relaxed and they look very confident and very happy with this game. And that's what the kind of thing you need. Go into a long weekend now. We have the Martin Luther King holiday coming up, and now we can maybe get a little extra practice time and feel really good about yourself. And the next game we have is Neshaminy here at home. And hopefully we can get another victory. We're going a little streak now.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of games at home, coming down to watch these girls is a tremendous opportunity, and you're looking at a very athletic team, a fun team to watch. This is a team where there's always going to be a lot of passing, a lot of skilled ball handling, which makes the games a lot more, it can add a lot of athleticism, a whole lot of athleticism, and plus the games are a lot of fun to come down to. They're doing a raffle during the game. You got a chance to win a couple dollars. It looks like there was a half-court shooting competition. It's almost a carnival atmosphere.
Yeah, it's almost like a college game where if you go to Temple University and see their games, there's always something going on at halftime or at a timeout or something like that, and that makes the game fun to come to. And I don't want to put down the boys program under Coach McGee, but it's a real contrast when you come to the boys game. It's always very tense in here for a boys game. It seems like everybody's on edge, and it's sometimes a really close game, and that makes it a tense situation. But there's not a lot of passing in those games. This game seems like everybody's working on the same page. The boys' games doesn't seem so. And as I say that, Tomei Ellis drives the court and makes a layup and draws a foul, and she goes back to the stripe.
Well, Tomei is going to win the award, narrowly edging Yoder for most trips to the foul line. There should be some kind of award for that, because she certainly has been there quite as she's been in the game. And again, when you play the post or you play a forward position, that's what you want to see out of your forwards. You want to see them go to the line. But back to the team, you're certainly right, Neil. This is a team that is so well-rounded. You've got a nucleus of players here that really can do a lot of different things on the court, and they're tremendous fun to watch as McCoy tries with a desperation three-point shot. Out of bounds, it's going to remain ball.
And it looks like they're having a good time out there. Although, you know, you can't be smiling the entire game. It looks like at times you can look in some of the girls' eyes as Charissa McCoy gets another basket. You look in some of the girls' eyes when they're coming down the court, and they're like 3 plays ahead of the action that's going on. It's almost like a chess game. They're ready for the next play, and whatever happens, but they're ready for any situation, and they're really having a good time out there. And I guess when you're leading by 20 points, I guess you're going to have a good time. But even at the beginning of the game, when there's a 10-0 lead, it looked like as the game ends, and Amy Jablonski doesn't get the 2-pointer, but it was a nice little last-second turnaround shot, and she gets a hug from Coach Morgan. It looks like everybody's having a good time out there, and everything just seems to be clicking for the Norristown Eagles as they take this game 58-38 over the outmatched Bensalem Owls.
Well, Neil, I think that going down the totally unofficial scoring for the Lady Eagles, there was tremendous. I have at least 3 of the Lady Eagles in double-digit scoring. Nancy Strakowski had 13. Cresswell had about 10. Jessica Munson chipped in with 12. Jablonski had 7, Yoder had 6. That doesn't even come close to telling the entire story. These girls did a great job at both ends of the court. Passing, they really seem to be in sync, and they mesh beautifully this evening, and you only hope that will continue as they enter into what would probably be considered the more rigorous segment of their schedule coming up in the next couple games.
That's right, and Tomei Ellis had a great game defensively, and she made it to the foul line a lot. She drew a lot of fouls. We also have to put out to the freshmen who came in, Katie Heslin and Rebecca Springman and Christine McClellan, who played right there at the end, but they kept the game together. For Bensalem, Charissa McCoy was the big scorer. She had well over a dozen points. Amber Maurer contributed with 8 points. Mindy Spellman had 4, and Allison Thorne had 4. And Alice just didn't have it from the get-go. They just seemed to be outmatched by Norristown. Our next game is what, John?
We're going to be looking at about 4 days or so from now, which, if I'm not mistaken, the 21st is going to fall on a Tuesday. They're going to be at Council Rock. At the conclusion of this game, that leaves Norristown 4-5 in the league. They're creeping up on 500, and they did go over the 500 mark overall. They're now 8-7. Neil, any final remarks?
Well, I think this is a positive game for Norristown. They really worked over Bensalem, and they got a confidence builder here going into next week's schedule.
Well, this is John Price from Norristown Area High School. Thanking you for joining us on the cast this evening for myself and my partner Neil Schaefer, and we hope to see you for the next one. Thanks a lot.